Okay. So we are here tonight. We're kicking off the 2020 Virtual Detroit Pen Show with Pierre Miller of Desiderata Pen Company based in Chicago, Illinois. So welcome, Pierre. Thank you very much.
Thank you for
Um,
having me. It's a pleasure to be at the Detroit Pen Show.
yes, here we are in downtown Detroit. So, I took a look at your site ahead of time and tell me a little bit about when you started this business and what motivated you. And I really also want to know the story behind choosing Desiderata as the name of the company.
They're all pretty tightly related, just separated a bit by time. I got into, um, I wanted a fountain pen that I could use to improve my handwriting. Specifically, the model that I was looking after was, I think it was English roundhand at the time. This was years ago. And to practice that, you really need some kind of tool that would give you access to the fins and the swells. And there wasn't really any pen on the market um, that suited my needs for purchase. I wanted something that I wouldn't have to feel like I needed to baby, and a number of other factors. And it was just, it's so difficult to get something that was what I needed that I decided I could try and reverse engineer something to suit using the Zebra G nib. It's a really good calligraphy nib. And while I was doing this, I thought, it would be really interesting if I wasn't the only person who needed this, and I might be able to sell one or two. And so I thought about going into making a small little business, um, reproducing the pen that I was looking for. Uh, as far as the name goes, I wanted something that meant that what I was selling was in the company name. And I came across the poem by Max Ehrmann, Desiderata, which is Latin for the Latin plural of desired things. I went into business to make stuff that I wanted, and I figured that other people uh, would want similar stuff. There's a lot of stuff out there that the market, for one reason or another, is kind of weak on supporting for one reason or another, and I thought it'd be interesting to form a business around selling, or rather making and selling the things that you can't easily buy.
Okay. So as time has gone on, have those desired things shifted for you as well as for the customers who shop with you or, come back?
Well, yes, in short, the customers. So the part of the way that I'm able to do what I do is I manufacture using what's called small batch manufacturing. So I do short runs of the items in place, and by short we're like maybe 100 or so pens at a time, and this is guided by my assessment of what I wanted to do and what the market could support. Um, Over time, the kinds of things that I found myself leaning into have changed slightly, but everything that I've ever made has always been on spec. So, outside of the user feedback survey available on my website, where people can comment and populate a spreadsheet that tells me what people think about what they see and what they really want. Outside of that, and general emails that people tell me occasionally, uh, I don't have a whole lot of outside input into what gets made. Does that make sense?
Okay. I think that does. What's been the most popular offering? I know that, this now are all of the pens now focused around the flexible nibs that seem to be the really hot thing for Desiderata Pen Company that got you all motivated about this.
Yeah, that was the flex nib idea. The Zebra G and a fountain pen was the is the unique selling proposition. But a couple of years ago, I branched into doing things with the Yovo number six nib, which was, pretty popular, and people were telling me that it was a good idea to have a regular non-flex nib that they could have access to, because not everybody is interested in flex, and I know it's kind of a niche sort of a thing. So probably the most popular pen in terms of just total. lifetime numbers is the Desiderata Daedalus. That was, first model. Hey, Steph. Probably that I've sold more than everything else. That was also the first model, and it's been the cheapest model. But but that's kind of giving it an advantage considering that I come out with one model at a time and I go back to models and I rework and I'm always making Daedalus, so it has a bit of a head start. Yeah.
Okay. So you added the Yovo 6 nibs to appeal to the folks that are not the flex nib users. But what about those of us like myself who have not really gotten into flex nibs, have some hesitation about doing it? What do you recommend for somebody who's new to it? How do you get in and just really start feeling comfortable with
Oh,
using a
well,
flex nib?
that's a fantastic question. And if I saw you in person, I would probably just pull out the stuff that I have and say, well, if you get a Desiderata pen with a Zebra G nib in it, you can try out one of the most outstanding nibs on the market in a convenient way that you're used to, with very low risk because the nibs are designed to be disposable. And if you overflex it or break it or do something crazy, it's no big deal to replace it and go back into a new one. And honestly, it gives you pretty outstanding performance and a lot of versatility. If that if you get a Desiderata pen of any sort that pleases you, because if I met you at a show, I would say buy the pen that you want, and we'll make sure that it writes the way that you need it to. And if you change your mind, if you evolve, you can have the pen to keep up with you because you've got access to a lot of nib choices with the Yovo number 6 um, intermediary. So I would say get one of those and then see where it goes. If you don't like Flex, no big deal. You'll probably write me an email and say, the Flex isn't really my thing. Well, then I'll sell you a number 6 nib unit. You can unscrew the old one, put the new one in, and
Oh,
you've got a great fountain pen, and life goes on. If you say, oh, this is a great nib, but I get tired of switching it out all the time, do you have a stainless option? I'm going to say no, there isn't one on the market. That's why I went into business. But I can refer you to a few friends of mine that I know who will sell you a nice vintage pen that can give you great performance. Or if you don't want to do that, I know a few people who modify existing gold nib pens to give added flex. Um, and I can refer you to people that I know and that I like, but that is a different buying proposition than mine because remember, you're buying the one off thing, you're paying a lot of labor, and it comes with all these pluses and all these minuses. There isn't the perfect product out there, so unfortunately, I guess I have to be there to help you make your choice on which set of compromises you're willing to endure.
okay. Okay. So um what's been the most popular offering out of the flex nibs that you've been doing, looking at from where you started to now? What seems to be the one that gets people interested over and over again?
I only have ever sold consistently one flex nib option in my pens. It's built around the Zebra G. G
Okay.
is a general nib. Zebra is just the company. There's a Tachikawa G, and there's one out of England. They're made. They all kind of look similar, but the Zebra G is the only one that really fits, and it's the one that I like the most. It's most consistent, most widely available. So there's only been the one.
Okay. But there's different models of like the pen body. Am I understanding
Right.
that correctly? Okay. So out of those models, like what's been super popular?
I would guess the Daedalus just because it's the cheapest one. The Icarus is, I think, the second affordable uh, fountain pen with a high performance flex option that I came out with. It's got a more contoured body and it's all black ebonite. That's been very popular, but it hasn't been out for that for very long. I've been selling Daedalus since 2014. Um, I've made lately quite a few sobriquets, and Steph, I think, mentioned that she seems to like hers. Sobriquet was the first pen that I made that was designed to have a clip in it. It's got a clip that I design and I make. Um, Probably that, the Super K is also my favorite one, but you know, I think that might get you closer. Oh yeah, and I should also mention for a hot minute back in 2014, I was selling um, these wooden pens called Mercuries. They were straight cylindrical. I really went into business because I wanted to do all that stuff, fountain pen that uses flex nibs, but I wanted a good wooden pen. And this was the best that I was able to make at the time, those Mercuries. I have not sold a Mercury in years because, I went into business, selling these things before I really understood as much as I needed to make the optimum product. So it was the best that I could do at the time, but it's got a lot of weaknesses that I don't want to go back through again. So I think about the Mercury from time to time, and those sold like hotcakes back in the day, but that's been discontinued.
Okay. Is there anything about the Mercury that you would want to bring back that would motivate you to like kind of refigure it?
Oh, sure. I'll write on my board over there about the stuff that I want to do. A wooden Mercury would be great, but I'd have to change a few things about it that would kind of fundamentally alter its appearance, but would make it a better pen. Mercury was a cylinder, a straight cylinder cap and the barrel were the same diameter. But as you probably know, being a pen person who lives in this universe, you can't make a cap and the barrel the same dimensions without having some giant step from the barrel
Mhm.
going down to the grip section.
Right.
And that step, because the pen started out pretty small, the step reduces the size to the point where the parts that we need to hold the nib and the feed, which kind of have fixed sizes, can't, there's not a lot of room. So you end up with either a really thin cap, which is fine, but it's really difficult to make super thin walled things that have great strength. Talk to an aircraft engineer. That Mercury forced me to go through a lot of learning to make it even possible. And somewhere along the line, I said, "Gosh, if you have to do all of this just to make something, just to make the thing that you dreamt up, maybe you need to change the design." And that's what got me into the procession model, which is significantly a stronger model, and the Super K model, which kind of evolved in an entirely different way. I can talk about those models if you want to.
Okay. Okay. Do you have photos that you can share with us or other or some live images of pens available?
I I have some. I have a little bit here. I did not make the slideshow that I wanted to of all my photographs between yesterday and today. It slipped my mind entirely, and I'm sorry about that.
Quite all right.
Uh, Let me see. I can show you. I can show you what I have here at the moment. It's uh, it's none of those things that we talked about, though.
Quite all right.
All right, let me move the camera around and I'll show you what I've got here. Just a moment.
Okay.
If I can say, I'm
So,
just looking up at your website, and there's quite a few good selections of pictures there, also showing the current offerings if people are interested after the conference there.
oh sure, that'd be wonderful. So this is a wooden Super K. I had this. When did I make this? 2019. Okay. So this is my wooden Super K in Cocobolo. And this model, I believe, I also discontinued. It's on the website right now as the Ne Plus Ultra. It's in a few ways, it does a lot of things that I wanted it to do, but it required some compromises of design that I didn't care for. So I discontinued that model. This is the cap. This is Coke, and this has been stained a few times, and this pen has been used quite a lot, but still in pretty good shape. This is the clip that I make. I just started putting on these ball clips, the balls on the end of the clip. I'm proud of that. This is stainless steel. nice and firm. This is the pen and its barrel. Where's that engraving? There we go. So
I think I lost your audio
all
feed
right.
for a second there.
Am I here now?
Yeah,
Hello?
there you are.
All right.
There you are.
Sorry
Can you
about
hear me okay?
Yeah, sorry. I guess it's the headphones decided to reboot. Okay, sorry
Oh,
about that.
okay. Okay.
So, so this is the pen barrel. That's the engraving, grip section. This is a vintage nib that I managed to procure that seems to fit. This is what's left of a red feed that I had, and the way that this would fill. You take off the barrel, and the barrel's whole, and there's this. Um, I discontinued this model because having the grip section, with the grip section with the threads, it was just the sort of thing where you could accidentally, if you didn't tighten it together, take this off when you take the cap off, and that's just silly. And the ink window is a problem, but I'll sort that out in the next run, this is the next pen, the next run to come out soon. It'll be done in eucalyptus burl. That's pretty much it. It's pretty basic barrel filling mechanism. This one I gave a plunger filler, made all the parts. This is ebonite, stainless, ebonite, stainless, O-ring seal. Pretty self-explanatory. This one I kept, but yeah. So this is one that I have. This is my sobriquet in Cocobolo. That's the wood. The other thing that I had that was kind of interesting, let's see if we have one here. I started making screw piston fillers. This is my Dumka. Dumka is a passing thought in Ukrainian, and this is my piston filler first one that I did. So let's see. It's just a large sobriquet in terms of just what this thing is. Couldn't tell.
Okay.
It's a smidge larger. Okay. Oh, right. Uh, so the cap comes off. Let's look at how fast the cap unscrews. So as we unscrew, that's kind of what we get. This is decent. With the Dumka, I figured I'd just go all out. So let's see what we've got here. It nearly blows right off. It comes off very quickly. And this is the piston filler. It's hard to see a little bit, but there's the helix in the back on the nut. You unscrew the back end. The piston screw moves forward. This time, because this was the second production run, and I made this out of clear acrylic so you could see what was going on. I thought it would be fun to do the piston screw out of clear acrylic as well, so you could probably see the clear piston head. Like I said, made all the parts. It's kind of what we got. So this is a Dumka, and I've got Dumki in. We're calling this Tiger Pearl. Same sort of a job. I've got 3 of those. Dumka in this blue chip acrylic. It's kind of neat. And I've got enough for 4. This is the old clip. Still good. Not quite to my satisfaction because the ball end is ground to be round, so it's not sharp, but it is still a little small. This is black ebonite. Same deal, But yeah, so I've got enough of those. 4 of those, and I've got this little magenta job here.
Oh, I love that color.
Yeah, I'm fond of it as well. This is definitely a magenta. If things aren't coming through. Oh yeah, I got a clear piston screw as well. So those are that's what we have right now. Like I mentioned before, when I do small batch production, I work on spec, and I almost never seem to keep any inventory in stock, which is, I think, probably a more efficient way to do it. Let's see. It's because nobody wants, you know, stuff just sitting around, taking up space. So that's what I have. The ones, Marion Kern. Let me look at this chat window here. Marion Kern, website doesn't have much available. Are the ones you showed up currently available? They are not on the website. This was second production run, and I only ever made maybe 20 of these just to see if I had all the numbers right and the design was right and the procedure was good. If you wanted anything that you just saw, email me at desideratapens@gmail.com, please. The website is usually empty. If something is on the website, and you should know this, if something is on the website, it means that I intend to make more of it once I get back to it in that spot in the production schedule. If something was there and is no longer there, consider it obsoleted. May come back, but don't hold your breath. If you do see something on the website that you're interested in, if you go to the bottom of the page, I think it'll send you to a place where you can say, please give me an email notification when this is ready again. Please do so. That'll help me a lot. Let me see. Oh, there's some other questions here. For everyone, if you want to see just Pierre, only click on the video. Okay. So she presented, blah, blah, blah. Welcome to the...
Yeah, the rest are all kind of technical things. So
Okay.
I've put Pierre's email and the link to the website in the chat, and I'm going to go ahead. Is there anything else you wanted to add right now, Pierre, to what you have coming up for the next few months?
Oh, well, it's coming up in the next few months. Next thing on the run is, so first, I need to make some more feeds. I'm doing a run of retail pens with Gold Spot.
Oh, wow.
We're doing some sobriquets in.
Is Goldspot based in Chicago? Am I remembering that correctly?
I don't think
Or no?
so. I think they're somewhere out east. I can't remember. New Jersey, maybe? Can't remember.
Okay. Okay.
Some stuff that looks like this. Something that looks like that.
Oh, wow.
This, kind of like that.
Ooh.
And there's a
New
translucent
Jersey.
orange.
Okay.
There's a translucent orange and a translucent blue. So we'll be doing some stuff like that. So I'm working on that. I'm just about finished with that run. After that, I'm going to be doing more of sobriquet. In eucalyptus burl, a gorgeous wood that I've been waiting on for a long, long time. I'll get down to that. And after I get done with the gold spot order, I also happen to have some BAMFs. If anybody has not heard of this, I have a pen model that's on the website. It's spelled BAMF. And
Yes.
people talk about it. Some people have
Yes.
talked about it. It's amusing. I've got
Yes.
a few dozen more of those that aren't listed. They're waiting to get their nibs installed. I'll have to make some more of those pens.
Yeah, for
I guess
those of us
everybody
who
can use a
are
laugh.
Pulp Fiction fans and just want to have something that, says BAMF on it.
It's not actually written out. It's not initials. The words
It's
themselves are spelled out.
okay, bad.
Yes, yes,
Don't
yes,
want to offend anybody here, so you
Oh,
can go to his website and see that.
Badass mother lover.
Nobody who's gonna be offended is here already. We're already polarized. The people who are afraid have already left. So, yeah. But yeah, so I'll be doing some of those, and then probably more Daedalus, more Icarus, another run of sobriquets. Incidentally, the sobriquet model was designed to take advantage of some material that I got access to that I really liked, but was really not didn't cooperate well when you get it wet. So I've got this vintage French Galalith that I've been sitting on for a long time that I'm gonna do, and that's kind of neat stuff. Kind of translucent stripes, blues, reds, greens, silver. Um, so that's on the roster, but realistically, there's plenty of wood stuff that I want to do. Uh, well, you asked me earlier, Corinne, what have I have has what has the me making stuff that people want that's not available changed over time? There are two directions that I like to go in when it comes to making stuff that's interesting in the world of pens. A common way is same pen model, different material. Okay, I love material. I like material. Material gets me excited in the morning. But there's also the way that things go together and interesting mechanical mechanisms, because most pens are mechanical. They're not electrical or anything crazy like that. It's pretty basic stuff. And I really like um, there's some crazy labyrinthine designs from yesteryear that I've always liked that I'd like to bring back. And some of that is in the world of filling mechanisms. Some of that is in other assemblages. And that I think about. Those are the things that I think are the most interesting and the most satisfying, but they take the longest. For example, the Super K. Do I have one? Oh yeah. Okay, so yeah, I forgot. So this is a Super K that I have. I keep this around. This is made out of some modern celluloid that I bought from Mark Hoover from American Art Plastics and La Belle Epoque. This isn't going to photograph well. This is just a dark purple. You can't tell that it's anything other than dark purple with little rivulets and silver in it. All right, so I gave this Pilot Extra Fine nib, which I got by cannibalizing Pilot nib. It's got a red nib collar in it, which you see that? Yeah, got a little red
Okay.
nib collar in it that I had to make.
Okay.
And do I have it? Oh, right. And so the back end of the filler mechanism has this little spring, and when you get one, you'll have a spring it'll pump like this, and the spring will push it back. You need a custom spring to be able to do that. But the interesting thing about this mechanism is the way that it works is by squeezing air out of the back of the barrel and giving it a place to get out of the front of the barrel before the ink does. And the Dunn pump filler did that, as did the Parker Vacuumatic, as did the Visafil, as did any number of other pens that have the same basic, still with the same basic principle, but approach it through, uh, I think, kind of fascinating mechanical solutions. And that is what I think is the most exciting, the stuff that you don't see on the market the most, or that you see the least. Because I see a lot of piston fillers are super common. It's incredibly hard to make a good one, but the way to do it is to just make huge numbers of them because nobody wants to machine these things one at a time. They're too hard. Um, but you see a lot of cartridges and converters, piston
Yeah.
fillers, eyedroppers. Fine, but it's everywhere. That's not terribly intriguing to me. I like a good vac filler. If I can get one to work, that's kind of interesting. Uh, but yeah, so two directions I like to go in. Material is fascinating. I love material. I love wood. I'd make the whole pen out of wood if I could. But that mechanical side, that's kind of interesting.
Okay. Elaine has asked, has your company allowed to do this full time, and what is your background in your education?
I do this full time. I used to be a full time. I have a degree in chemistry and a degree in music. I worked as a musician until, 20, a while ago. I've been doing music for a really long time. I got into pens through vintage pens around 2013. And right now, I only have one piano student that we meet virtually with. And so this pretty much holds up the rest of the house. Background, education, chemistry, music, small liberal arts college.
Okay, very good. I'm going to go ahead and unmute folks, and we'll have you ask you to raise your hand using the in the chat feature.
Oh, we're gonna get faces. Oh boy.
Things are gonna get interesting.
Oh man, it's a real shame not being able to do pen shows where you can actually see human beings. Man, what a concept.
I know. Okay, you're now able to unmute yourselves. I ask that everybody be respectful of each other. So,
Hello, hello. Oh, I'm getting one person at a time. Oh boy, this is so exciting. Hey,
so
Marion, what's up?
oh, your audio isn't working right now, Marion. So if you want to type it in, then we can answer it that way. So,
Hey, Marion. Yeah. Hey, John. Tight. I feel like I've met you at a show. I feel like I may have made a comment about your name. Jonathan Tight.
Yeah, I bought a sobriquet from you at Baltimore.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the camera is angled so that I'm getting a really good shot of your the bottom side of your chin.
Yeah, well, it's resting on my desktop.
It's such an interesting perspective. I mean, I'm sure when I was at the show, I was sitting down, but it wasn't like this. There we go.
I'll look into the camera then if that helps.
Oh
okay.
man, now your
But I
face
can't
is
see
even
anybody else on the
busted
screen
up.
if I'm looking at the camera, but that's okay.
Oh man. Okay. Well, we got a number of people here who are sitting patiently and quietly, and Marion has not typed her question in yet.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, Marion, if you want to put your question in the chat, you can send it to me privately, or you can send it to Pierre privately, and we can get that answered for you. So,
yeah.
and if there's anybody else that has any questions that you want to ask Pierre now, you're welcome to do so. So, and Vivi's got a question.
Hi, Pierre. You had mentioned that you'd first started looking into pens for handwriting related reasons, and I wondered how that panned out.
Well, um, damn it. Yeah. Just a second. When I was, I guess, I found when I was in college. Um, oh man, going on 20 years ago. When I was in college, I used I discovered the fountain pen for my general stuff, um, but I stopped using them a few years later after I found out that the ink in the fountain pen that I was using, the Pilot Varsity, wasn't water resistant. So I used Pilot G2s for a number of years until I don't know, 20, early teens, something. And I found out that there was a company making waterproof fountain pen ink. So I bought another fountain pen, and I think I got a platinum preppy. I bought Noodler's ink that was waterproof, and it had a platinum preppy in it that was pretty smooth to me. And I thought that this nice pen, which makes writing so much fun, is the greatest thing. So I started writing a whole bunch of stuff that I didn't didn't use. Like I had a journal that I didn't use that much because I hated ballpoints, but that's what we had. And I was just having a lot of fun. And when you start writing with this great pen, you realize if your handwriting isn't that good, it seems kind of like a waste. So I wanted to get it better. So the model that I had in mind. Now I haven't. The model I had in mind was something was actually kind of like, well, I'll show you this. So this is a, geez. So this is my notebook from, what am I even talking about? This is my notebook from a while ago. And I write in cursive and I like a super extra fine point if I can get one. I think that example I showed you, let me see. Okay, yeah, June 21st, 2020. This is the third day of a 5-day antibiotic cycle I had to take because of the giant splinter I got in my hand from one of the back wooden steps fell apart. I walked down a flight of stairs and the stairs just disintegrated, and I hurt so much. Anyway, so this is kind of what my handwriting looks like.
Oh,
And
wow.
because that's what I wanted. I always, when I saw in the movie The Lord of the Rings, the inscription on the inside of the Ring of Power, I thought looked really slick, and I thought, man, it'd be so cool if you could write like that. But to get there, you have to take a model and then work backwards from that model because that's not in English, and you need all this stuff. So it took a while, but I think I did okay. My handwriting looked really decent like 3 years ago. I haven't practiced in a while. I haven't had the time, and it's just, oh God, it's just, you know how it is. But so yeah, Vivi, does that answer your question?
Yeah, very cool. Thank you for sharing.
Oh, sure, no problem. And feel free to speak up in the future. By the way, if anybody ever wants to chat about pen stuff or whatnot on Instagram, I'm always hard up for doing a live stream with somebody who wants to talk about pens. So if anybody wants to join in, just let me know. We'll set something up and we can talk. Hey, goodbye, Heather. Marion Kern. Okay, so Marion asked a question about larger grip sections. 10 millimeters. Okay, she would like a pen with a grip section at least 10 millimeters and a barrel, including nib B5. Well, gosh. All right. This is that Dumka we talked about. Let's just see. I usually work in inches because, American exceptionalism. But the Dumka is, the grip section is 11.2 millimeters. And if I'm not mistaken, what? 10 millimeters and 5 inches. Come on, Marion. This isn't England. Yeah, with the nib, if you get a Yovo number 6 nib, it should be exactly 5 and 5/16 long. Dumka would be the model that you were talking about. What's my Instagram handle? The Desiderata Pen Company. You can also find Desiderata pens. I think there's only me. Yeah, so that's a link to my Instagram page. And oh, right, if anybody doesn't know, have any of you heard of a guy named SBRE Brown? He is a fountain pen reviewer, and
In the
he and I
UK?
have been. No, he's Dutch and he lives in Canada now. But he and I do chit chats every so often, and we record them for the benefit of people who need some time to waste. And we talk about all sorts of things. We occasionally talk about pens, but it's kind of uncommon. We call it the Pierre and Steven Show, and we got a few episodes up on YouTube. They're about an hour or so, and we talk about all sorts of crazy stuff on there, and it's usually a pretty good time. Handwriting is quite nice. I have a sample from
Welcome to my
Ashes
YouTube
Rampage.
channel, in which I review fountain pens and pen-related objects such as inks.
Disagree. That was me. I apologize.
Okay,
I was trying to share the link to Steven's YouTube channel, and I didn't know it was
okay.
gonna autoplay. Oops.
Oh yeah, he's probably got an introduction going. Yeah. Yeah, we got some time here. I gotta ask. I know that Susan, Paper Cat Lady. I think your Instagram account got hacked. Right now, send us the link to your real Instagram handle because I wasn't sure if you were the real or the fake you, but I figured only the real you would come to this. So just let me know if you can.
It's me. My original account got hacked. How are you, Pierre? Nice to see you. I haven't seen you since Baltimore.
Right. Yeah. Me too.
I'm in the dark, so that's I.
Yeah.
How are
Just
you?
type it into the chat window if you can. Oh, I'm fine. Hey, oh, good to see you. That's great. Yeah, people is great. I'm fine. How are you? How are you?
I'm good.
Oh, good. Wow, that looks like a giant house you're in back there. Wow.
It's glowing because I don't have any lights on.
Oh, okay.
Oh, too bright.
Well, does anybody else have stuff that they wanted to get
Yeah,
off their chest or?
if there's a couple other questions, we can take them. And for any of the folks that are here, I see videos, but I know that there's a few more folks that don't have their video on, which is totally fine. So
Yeah,
I,
I'll be. Go ahead, John.
your Dunka had what you were calling a pump filler.
It was a screw
Is
piston.
that really? Is it kind of breather tube or is it more like a syringe filler?
Neither. It's a differential piston filler like a Pelican. You would turn
Oh,
the
okay.
knob to move the piston head.
Oh, okay. No, I must have been thinking of one of the. Maybe it was the Coco Bolo pen or something that. I mean, the Super Kit I got from you had the vacuumatic style, but this was the different. Yeah, just pull it out.
Yeah, this is one that I did for myself. I think I had an exceptionally. Uh, there was something about it that I knew I wanted this particular one for myself, and I know for myself I don't really need the spring. The spring is great, but when you just know that you're only going to fill it like this, you can fill and drain this thing and wash it instantly.
Yeah.
So I didn't bother putting a spring on this, but it's the same basic principle.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. Paper
Yeah,
doesn't
it's,
change anything.
I don't know if you're familiar with the Noodler's pens.
I've
They
bought dozens of those pens. Come on, who hasn't?
okay,
It's
yeah.
like $3. Yeah.
But I hear people bad mouthing them from time to time, and there are, I'm not very fond of the Charlie pens. They're cheap, but I don't know how to get them other than with a bottle of ink. So
He's really worked out a niche for himself somehow. It's
yeah,
you know, yeah. When you talk about this, I'm going to sell something, and I intend it to be inexpensive. You really you buy into a set of compromises that they can be pretty extreme.
well, I
Um,
just was gonna say the pump filler that he has on the, I guess a couple of them.
the Ahab had a pump
The
filler, if I'm not
Ahab
mistaken.
is the one I'm trying.
Clear,
Yeah,
yeah,
there's a little tiny breather tube, and that it goes up into the actual pump handle of the,
right,
which
right.
actually is a relatively clever way of doing it.
Yeah, maximizes the ink capacity
You could
for the
even have a
size.
thicker pump handle if you wanted.
Yeah, yeah. I've used those. I actually had an Ahab. It was the first pen that I ever did an architect grind on. Oh yeah, people occasionally ask me if I do nib grinds. I experiment. I dabble. I'm not quite to the point where I can give a nib where I can take my stainless steel Yovo nibs that you would buy if you didn't want the flex option on one of my pens. I'm not quite to the point where I'm ready to say, yeah, I'll charge you because what I'm doing here is worth charging you for. I'm still making sure that I'm fairly decent at it. However, I am pretty confident that I can take a nib and make it feel good if it doesn't. Generally, if you get the Yovo nibs they come loose. There's a nib feed squeezed into a nib collar. Like 10 or 15% of them are perfect. You screw them into the bin, they're perfect right out of the box. Uh, about 10 to 15% of them need a lot of work, and all the rest are just kind of meh. And when you buy a pen from me, you might get one that is perfect, amazing. You'll
Yeah.
probably get one that writes and feels okay. I don't go through the effort of taking all the pens that are not perfect and not terrible and turning them into, butter sticks. I don't do that because if I can't see how you write, I don't know that I'm not wasting my time. So I'll just make sure that it works. So for sure, if you buy a pen from me, at least you know that it'll work. I can't guarantee that it'll be an amazing, you know, that you won't hear siren calls when you play it, but you should get something. It should work. As far as the ones that are mediocre, I definitely fix those. And I usually bring those up to the level of being very good, decent. Ken Crooker asked, looking out for the Goldspot collaboration. I don't know when Goldspot will release them. You'll only be able to buy them through Goldspot, but Goldspot should have that stuff in. Oh, maybe next week. Maybe next week they should have them. Whenever they post them, though, that's anybody's guess. You'll have to talk to Tom Ado. Hey, Susan, I think there's a noise in the background that makes it seem like you're talking. There we go. Thank you. Yeah. Hello? Anybody?
I was going to ask, are you still doing your ebonite pen?
Those black Doomkey that you just saw were ebonite. All of my Daedalus and Icarus are ebonite. And
Are you doing it with the
got,
red section still? The badass?
oh, those. Yeah, those are gonna be still black ebonite, red grip sections. The next few dozen that I have, they'll all be solid ebonite pump pistons. They feel great. People are uniformly pleased with them. I'm hearing nothing but good feedback. The next run of BAMFs that you'll get to in maybe 6 months, maybe a year, maybe less, I'm not sure. The next run of BAMFs that I'm going to do, they're going to be screw piston fillers.
That's
Okay?
interesting. Very interesting.
Is that okay? I know the
That's
original
okay.
was pump piston. Okay. People apotheosize the screw piston filler. It's so much faster to use one of these pumps. It's kind of confusing to me, but I don't know. People want what they want, and that's what they say.
So you said like 6 months?
Oh, for the next run, I have a few dozen that haven't been listed yet. They just need nibs. But another full run where I go through and where I make a whole new set, that might be 6 months, maybe less, maybe more. I'm not sure. It always seems that there's more pens that need to get done that haven't been made. And, once you've made something, it gets dropped to the bottom of the list.
Okay, I'm making a note.
What did you have in mind? You wanted a BAMF with what nib in it?
I'm not sure yet. I'll have to talk to you.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
well, yeah.
We're going to have to close this down, but thank you again to Pierre for joining us tonight for our first vendor spotlight of the 2020 Virtual Detroit Pen Show. As a reminder, our show sponsor this year is Opus Meccan. You can visit their website at opusmeccan.com. There is a number of sales going on over there for the holiday season. You can check out Pierre's website at desideratapencompany.com.
No, just Desiderata Pens.
Desideratapens.com. Excuse me, desideratapens.com. And find his links there for social media. We also shared a few in the chat. And thank you again to everybody. And thank you for your patience as we work out the kinks of a new system. We'll see you in another event very soon. Have a good night.
Have a good night, everybody.